Carolyn Hyslop, and I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Canoe Museum. The Canadian Canoe Museum has been here on Monaghan Road for the last 20 years. And in the last 2 years, the Canoe Museum, along with its staff and board, have actually been working to move this entire facility to the water. This project is a $65 million project. And so we have a relatively small team of staff here at the museum and a really engaged board of directors. And in early of 2017, it became very clear that we needed much stronger financial management in place in order to support the campaign, but also to support the project in terms of managing all the ins and the outs from the project side, as well as some of the revenues coming in as well. We have a really talented group of finance committee members, and they were requesting that we look for a CFO that would help us on a part-time basis. Trying to find a staff CFO in Peterborough who has the experience and the skills to be able to handle our needs for the campaign and the project sort of immediately doesn't exist. And so it was recommended through a colleague that we should talk to Daryl and see if he has somebody he can assign to us to help us get into a stronger position with our management of the campaign and the project. Actually, it was the first meeting with Daryl. It was like this, to be able to say, because we've been carrying it ourselves internally, the chair of our finance committee has been doing a lot of the CFO work for the Canoe Museum for the last year and a half. And then to have the conversation with Daryl and to sort of lay out everything that we need help with, it was just that process in and of itself was a beautiful process. It's like, I need help with our government grants, reporting and tracking. We want the campaign fund to be thoroughly managed, report to the finance committee, putting together all of the packages for the finance committee and the different reports. And so that first conversation with Daryl was sort of when that aha moment, like, yes. And then Ziad was appointed to our team and came in and started working with us on a regular basis. And that flow of communication and having him assisting with the chair of the finance committee is perfect. From a finance committee point of view and from the board of directors point of view, having somebody here on a regular basis whose sole responsibility is financial management of not just the organization, but this growing organization, and with the introduction of the campaign fund, adding all of the government grants that we're currently executing right now and the reporting, like the stakes are so much higher than they've ever been for the museum, and having that kind of oversight, it's great for the senior management team, and it's really great for the board and for the finance committee. We have a really small, our operating budget's $1.3 million, and it's being able to carry somebody at the level that we need them to be at on a full-time basis, it wouldn't be sustainable for us. And we also needed to respect the fact that there are times when we have increased load and there's other times when there's not. And so being able to flex the time a little bit with somebody on a part-time basis was really important. And the support, so we have Ziad working with us on the team, but then we also have this advantage of having Daryl and some of the other colleagues being able to collaborate and problem solve. And so there's this neat group mentality that comes to the table when we need it, when we are encountering some challenges. And you don't get that with a full-time staff. Ziad, although he's not here all the time, like he's not here on a full-time basis, I can always get in touch with him. So if I call him or email him, I hear back from him right away. And a lot of the times it needs to be sort of addressed in a quick way. And so I always feel like I have I have great availability to Ziad, even though I don't have him here on a full-time basis. I feel like he's here so Ziad is placed right within the museum team. So when he's here, he's coordinating with our director of philanthropy, our finance manager, checking in with me, making sure that all of us are aligned in terms of our reporting and our tracking. And the communication is key because, yeah, sometimes you've got consultants that work off-site and you don't have a good sense of what they're up to. But in this case, he's right on site, he's always available, he's working right with Marina in the same office, so there's a really good cohesion. And I think Ziad's just an easy guy to get along with, and Yeah, he's nice. I'm really happy that he's working on the Canoe Museum's project. I think what I've learned over the last sort of half of the year is just the capacity for doing more. So the amount of time it takes Ziad to do something, it's not as long as I would think, and so there's always more that he can be doing and he's willing to do. He's willing to help out on anything. Right now we're working on a business plan update for the new museum, and that fits well into his portfolio, but that is definitely outside of campaign fund tracking and also government grants. But it's also well within his wheelhouse, and he's great at putting it together. I think nonprofits and charitable organizations, if they don't have the resources to hire somebody for a full-time basis, they should consider having the expertise on hand in some capacity or another. I think strong financial management of all organizations and businesses is really important, and certainly maybe even more so in a nonprofit. We're accountable to our donors and our stakeholders and our government partners, and to be able to have somebody that really cares for and owns that financial portfolio, it's really important. So their team brings that to the table for this area, and I think we're fortunate to have somebody like part-time CFO in the area to be able to offer that service to an organization like ours.